Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the 5 reasons why Breckenridge and Summit County make a great investment opportunity. Breckenridge in Summit County is world renowned for its stunning beauty. We got Rocky Mountain vistas everywhere. We have world-class skiing, and in the summer we have the best summers in the world. Never gets above 80 degrees, sun is shining, it's dry, perfect for all of your outdoor activities. So let's get into the reasons why you should buy a vacation home here in Breck. Number 1 reason why you should invest in Breckenridge and really Summit County as a whole is going to be growth. There is a lot of growth that we've seen over the last few years here in Summit County, especially due to the pandemic. As people are working from home, now we have this kind of gig economy where people have their own small businesses. They can work from wherever they want. They can work remote. They take months at a time and go live somewhere awesome. We're seeing a lot of people come here to Breckenridge, Colorado and spend their tourism dollars, which is our main driver here. Our biggest industry is tourism. So we get a lot of people, most of them who are not local or not full-time, I guess you should say. And we have had an influx of them. And I've seen a lot in my business. In particular, I've seen a lot of Californians, Texans, New Yorkers, Floridians, all these people from all over the country. Now that they can work from home, they've decided to move out here, and where they'd spend, especially in California and New York, an exorbitant amount of money on the real estate over there. They now come to Breckenridge, and to them, it's a deal. And so that's actually driven up the price of real estate here in Breck and Summit County. So the county is growing. And the caveat to that is that we don't have a lot of buildable space. We're about 90 to 92% built out in the county on average. And it's pretty crazy, actually. If you just look at a map of Summit County, you'll notice that we are surrounded by national forest. There's a tiny strip of land going north to south that is buildable, and we've built out most of it already, and there's really no chance of us expanding out into the national forest. So the law of supply and demand will dictate that when demand is high and supply is low, prices will go up. So growth here will continue to go forward, mainly due to supply and demand, and also because we have a huge gig economy that does not need to work in the office anymore. Reason number 2 that Breckenridge and Summit County is a great investment opportunity, or maybe not, is the rental market here in Summit County. The average studio 1-bedroom is getting anywhere from $200 to $300 a night in the middle of ski season. I myself have a 1-bed condo and a studio that I put on AirBnB. Those consistently make $300 a night in heavy ski season. We're doing about $70,000 gross on our Breckenridge condo, and we're doing about $50,000 gross on our studio condo over in Keystone. So there is a great opportunity for a rental market here. And again, it's really just the demand for the short-term rental stay. About half of our housing stock, maybe a little bit less, is short-term rentals. Again, it speaks to our industry here, which is tourism. Most people who are here that you'll see on a daily basis are tourists from out of town who are coming to enjoy everything that Summit County has to offer. So the numbers that you can get revenue-wise here are great. The only reason why it might not be is because of the starting price of those condos now and the property management fees, as well as interest rates. So if you are an investor and you're looking to leverage into something like short-term rental condo, between the starting price of $500,000 to $800,000 for a 1-bedroom condo, 7.25%, 7.4% interest rate, something like that right now, plus 25% property management fees, and then you tack on the lodging tax of 12.5% in Breck, a little under 10% in Keystone. You're looking at a lot of money that is being taken away from you, and it's very, very hard to cash flow, if not impossible, unless you are willing to put 100% down, meaning you're paying full cash. And so I think the opportunity is in the store hold for wealth. So if you are looking to put your money into the stock market maybe, or some other investment vehicle, and you've got a couple $100,000 lying around, $1 million lying around, you don't know what to do with it, I would recommend putting it into some real estate out here in Summit County, because you're going to get the average appreciation of 5 to 6% every year, not counting the pandemic, which we saw an average of 63%. Out of control. It was unbelievable. But factoring that outlier, Breckenridge in Summit County is an awesome investment because you're getting that 5 to 6% a year. On top of that, you are also getting some rental revenue if you buy in the appropriate rental zone where you can get a rental license. So you're also getting distributions on top of getting that appreciation. And the real investment play here in Summit County is the principal pay down. So if you can pay down your property as fast as possible or buy it in all cash, hold on 7 to 10 years. Again, because of the supply and demand, you are going to come out on top. Now, I did mention the appropriate zones. Now, if you want to know more about which zones will allow short-term rentals, it is unbelievably confusing and no basis in fact whatsoever, but the towns and counties just decided that this was what they wanted to do to try to stop the crazy inflation of prices, which they thought short-term rentals had something to do with. And 3 years later, they were wrong. As we all predicted, it had nothing to do with short-term rentals, and the median price is the highest it's ever been. So it's unfortunate because we've priced out a lot of longtime locals here who just never saved up the money to buy a house, and property owners were heavily affected because they now cannot do what they like with their property, meaning getting a short-term rental license. And so if you want to know about the particular zones in which you can get a rental license, reach out to me or comment below, and I'm happy to help you and guide you through that process, because again, it's very confusing, and if you don't have a professional like me who understands this market in and out, you are not going to know what to do, and you are going to be in deep trouble when you go to buy a property that can't get a short-term rental license. All right, the number 3 reason, and the biggest reason I push people to buy a home here in Breckenridge, is vacation home. Really, you are buying the lifestyle here. I think that's where the biggest investment comes into play. Forget all of the short-term rental revenue, forget the appreciation, forget the supply and demand, forget all the bullshit numbers. Just focus on lifestyle, and this is the best investment into your life that you will ever make. And the reason I say that is a couple of different reasons, but one of my favorite ones to say is that the US News did a report on the average life expectancy of a resident here in Summit County, and it turns out that the average life expectancy is 98.9 years, almost making us a blue zone. If you don't know what that is, go check out the Netflix special on it. It's basically areas around the world where people live to be over 100 years old. And I'd say the only reason we don't get that life expectancy over 100 is because of the altitude that we're at, being above 9,000 feet above sea level. At some point or another, your lungs just can't keep up, which is why people tend to move away from here into their older years. But even with that, our average life expectancy is almost 99 years. So you think about the average life expectancy for an American, which is about 78, 79 years, you're tacking on an extra 20 years of life. Now, I know all of you smart investors out there and successful entrepreneurs, business people, I know that maybe if you've gotten to this point in your life, or if you've thought about it, there is nothing more valuable than extra time in your life. If you work your entire life, make $1 billion, and then you die at 79, what was really the point if you spent all the time working? So to get those extra 20 years of life is a return on investment like absolutely no other. And when you're out here, you can see that it's infectious. Everybody out here is doing something. Everybody's out skiing, hiking, biking, and a body in motion stays in motion, and it's a key factor into why the average life expectancy is so high. So I'd say the number 1 reason that you should be making an investment into Summit County property is the lifestyle and prolonged life, because I really can't think of a better return on investment. Now, speaking of lifestyle investment and things to do, this brings us to the 4th reason why you should definitely buy a home here, and that is because Breckenridge in Summit County is a tourist hub. Now, it's twofold, and there are certainly some cons to having a lot of tourism, but there are a lot of pros, and specifically, it's in the things to do department. Breckenridge has a number of different things to do in terms of events. We have many shops and restaurants lining Main Street, so any kind of food that you can imagine, you can pretty much get here in Breckenridge and Summit County. And then we've got awesome Rocky Mountain vistas. So if you just want to pop your lawn chair out on your deck and look at the mountains all day, that's one of my favorite things to do. Honestly, there's nothing like just sitting and watching the time go by as you're staring at the Rocky Mountains. It's incredible. And then if you really want to get active, I mean, fucking throw a rock in any direction and you are literally on the best hike that you've ever been on. So you can go hiking, you can go biking, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, fishing, rafting. We've got historical museums. We've got God, it's just like every time I think about it, we are so lucky that we get to live here, and we are so lucky that we are in a tourist hub because we have so many things to offer. So I'd say, again, from the lifestyle investment perspective, buy something here because we're a tourist hub, and that means tons of things to do. All right, this is the number 5 reason why we are investing in Breckenridge, and it's Breckenridge real estate versus the stock market. If you look at Breckenridge real estate, it's appreciated an average of 30 to 40%, outperforming a ton of stock market indexes, which means that you're getting better returns than the stock market. And on top of that, if you have a short-term rental license, you're getting the revenue on the back end to help offset some costs, pay for your HOAs, things of that nature. So I really like it for that reason, but it's not something that I like to focus on because real estate is cyclical. And yes, we are in a bubble here, and yes, limited supply, and yes, high demand. So what we've seen over the last 40 to 50 years, actually really since Summit County's inception back in the early 1800s, real estate has either gone up or kind of gone flat. And if you're looking at the most recent financial crisis back in 2008, we kind of just flattened off. Maybe we dropped off a little bit, and then in about 2014, 2015, we started picking right back up, and real estate prices are the highest they've ever been. So my guess is that there's going to be appreciation in the future. Maybe in the short term, we're going to see prices kind of stagnate a little bit. Maybe they'll drop a little bit, couple percentage points, but if you're holding on 7 to 10 years, like I always recommend, you're probably going to come out on top. But again, that's all speculation, and so that's not financial advice. What I really like to say is the number one reason you should be investing into a home here is for the lifestyle. Buy because you want to be here. Buy because you love skiing, because you love the outdoors, because you love the Rocky Mountains, you love Colorado. That is the number one reason you should be investing here. And if you don't like any of that stuff, maybe you're a beach bum, maybe you like city life, maybe, I don't know, don't buy here. Seriously, just stay away because you're not going to like it. If you're someone who hates the winter, definitely don't buy here. We get 7 months of winter. Sometimes it'll last 10 or even 11 to 12 months a year. You really want snow every single month of the year, so you got to think about it. I think lifestyle, depending on what kind of lifestyle you're into, will dictate whether or not you should buy a home here. If you're buying strictly for short-term rental revenue, forget it. There's better places to buy. You can make good numbers here. Like I said, we make over $70,000 a year on our 1-bed condo, but we bought that 7 years ago for $360,000. That condo today is over $600,000, and with the interest rates being at 7.5% almost, you can't make the numbers work. So buy for the lifestyle, hold on for the long term. It's going to be a great investment and you will not regret it. Again, if it's just Colorado lifestyle isn't your thing, you like to be on the beach, you love the cities, yeah, don't buy here. So hopefully that's insightful for you guys. You're able to learn a little bit about why you should not invest here in Breckenridge. And if you have any questions at all, call this number right on the screen. That is my personal cell phone number. You will talk directly to me and we can talk about why you should or why you should not buy something here in Breck. See you guys in the next video.